Let's say we got our progression that goes G, or well, these are our chords. We won't talk about the progression all yet. We got G, B minor, D, and G. That's where we could be in the key of G or the key of D. And now we're going to add an A chord. All right. Now, if we're in the key of G, what is our A chord going to be? What quality? Exactly, A minor. And so if you went G, put an A minor in there, to B minor, and then the key of D, or sorry, and then the D chord. All this time, it's very clear now that you're in the key of G. That A minor exposed it, you know. It took all the chords that had a key in common and kind of like, I don't know, pulled back the curtain or something where now you know what key you're in, you know. Even if you did something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, you know, just you put in there one beat and it just put it all in context. Now, what if you're in the key of D? What would A be? It would be the 5. So what would it be? A would be the 5 of D, which means it would be what? Like, what would its quality be? Would it still be minor? It'd be major, yeah. If we had the 7, it'd be dominant, but we could do it as a major. And that means that if we go like this, let's say G to A, now it's already over. We already know we're in the key of D, right? Because we have 2 major chords a whole step away from each other. Then to B minor, which is our 6th chord, and then to D. All right? And so it sounds like it's in the key of D. Now, if you followed that D up with a G, you could have been modulating because this D is the 5 of the G, even though the G is the 4 of the D, you know? That sense of 5-1 is a greater cadence than 4. Well, then certainly more than 1-4 is not really a cadence, right? And so it'll give you the sensation of you're changing key back to G. And so you have 4, 5, 6, 1, 4, 5, 6, 1. And for a split moment, that 1 to 4 sounds like you could be in the key of G because it's 5 to 1. And then, but not really, folks, because we're just repeating. It sounds like 5, 1. Oh, really? Now, oh yeah. Now remember we're talking about cadence here. So if we're in the key of D and our progression is ending there, like let's say D, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, and then 1 chord. That's a very weak cadence. Like, and home. This is not like a tension resolution. Not even tension. Like not even like, it sounds like home. It's like you went from one room of your house to another, you know? The sad room to the happy room. Now, all you would have to do is rearrange the order of those chords to get a greater sense of cadence. G, like, instead we do a G chord, B minor, A, D. That's right. Now we have 5, 1. And that's more of a cadence. So you'd have like... It's the same chords. It's just change the order to give it like a 5-1 relationship at the end that really brought it home. You know what I'm saying? Now, we talked about how whether you used C major or C sharp half diminished would determine whether you're in the key of G or the key of D. Now we talked about how if you added A minor or A major, it would depend if you're in the key. It would demonstrate that you're in the key of G or the key of D, right? Now, there may be other options, but we won't go into that just yet. Like, how does E relate? What would E be in the key of D? It'd be a 2 chord, so it'd have to be minor, right? But it would also be minor in the key of G because it'd be the 6 chord. So it'd be another one of those vague chords. You could have 4 chords now. You could have a G, B minor, D, and E minor, and all those 4 chords share 2 keys. That's pretty serious, you know. That's a lot of chords to find common ground. Yeah. Another example would be like in the key of G, we don't have an F chord, we have an F sharp half diminished, right? In the key of D, F sharp would be minor, right? So that's the example we talked before about the kind of the relationship between the 3 and the 4 and the 7, where you flat the 5, and the 1. So that's basically, here we have 4 chords that are in common with the 3 keys. It's the 2 keys, sorry. Between the key of G and the key of D, the G, B minor, D, and E minor are diatonically within both keys, right? And we have 3 chords that make them distinguish them from one another. We've got F sharp minor is the 3 chord in the key of D. F sharp minor 7 flat 5, so all we did really is flat the 5. That's the 7 chord in the key of G. So you can change key really explicitly. You can change key without just, it won't be explicitly demonstrated. You can change key specifically, like explicitly demonstrated by if you flat the 5 on that F sharp or not. If you don't, on the F sharp minor. If you do, you're in the key of G, and if you don't, you're in the key of D. And that's the same thing with the A minor or A major. Depending on what you do with that one note will determine which key you're in. And that one note, that one chord can be pivotal. You know, that's the note you change if you want to change key. Rather than just showing them what key you're in, you could be in the previous key and then change key with that one note. Like you could be in the key of G and be playing and singing and everything sounds like G. And then you play your A minor chord, but this time it's not minor. This time it's major, and then you come home to this D, and you've changed key on everybody. You know? And then it was the same with the C major chord or the C sharp half diminished chord. Cool. And so those are just a few examples of how you can think in terms of like creating a progression that changes from one key to another. That's a more in-depth look, right? There's easier ways. It's just as simple as changing one note to make something a dominant chord, which is something we briefly talked about, right? So if I have a chord progression that goes G,